Hello everyone. So I wanted to just make this video talking about what's been going on the last month or so. We've been doing Last of Us Remake since the beginning of May. So long time. And in that time span, we got some really good things accomplished. We got a much better grounded record in that 239.01. And then we spent a month on grounded permadeath and got a 248.37, if my memory is correct. And I think it was time well spent. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm like focused on one thing, and I think it was good. And then right after that, I foolishly decided to do Left Behind Remake. It's like clockwork. Every year I spend like a week or two on Left Behind of some sort. A few years ago, almost coming up on 3 years ago, I did a huge long grind of Left Behind on the original, and I got times that are still standing even today. They were the closest to perfect that I've ever gotten in a speed run. So I'm basically retired from that, but that's still Left Behind Remake, which I did a little bit after the game launched. And as the remake grind was coming to an end, I was like, well, I haven't done it in a while. Some other speedrunners have taken back some of my records for those categories, and I'm like, why don't I just give it a try? The reason I was hesitant was because every single time I do a Left Behind grind, I basically live like a degenerate. I get so the runs are like 1/6 the time of a campaign run. So I'm like, okay, I can do multiple attempts in one stream. Whereas with the campaign, I do a full run and that's kind of it. I'll practice some stuff afterwards, but that's it. A Left Behind run, I can do as many runs in one day as I want. And the run's short enough that I can put up an almost perfect run if I just put the time in and keep getting better. And every time I do that, my mind goes to a bad place. And it happened this time too. I'm currently recording this at around 3:30 in the morning on October 20th. For the last 3 weeks or so, I've woken up at around 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not kidding. And before I started Left Behind, I wasn't doing that. I fell into that pattern again. We need like a name for it. When I do Left Behind, I crumble. And it happened again this time. I think I did like a week straight of like 10 to 12 hour streams trying to get these categories out of the way. And the reason I try and get them out of the way so quickly is because, well, one, they're not that fun. I do it because I want that stupid little first place trophy icon next to my name on speedrun.com. Just to claim I have another record in this and that and this and that. That's the reason I do it. But for real, I do feel like the tension when I get close to the end of a run, and it's like, that feeling when you accomplish what you want. It's indescribable. It's really nice. And I got that plenty of times over the last month. But I know not as many people enjoy it, and my real life habits. I haven't been to the gym in about a month. So yeah, a part of this is just kind of explaining where my mind was the last month, and to kind of offer an apology. I even, for the first time ever in my life, did attempts offline because the hours I was streaming were weird. My energy level, my enthusiasm was off. I almost didn't want to be bothered, really. And like, if I do it offline, I'll be able to focus better. And I've never done that before, but I did it this time for like 3 of the 5 records I got. So there's 5 categories: grounded permadeath, very light permadeath, and all collectibles. That's pretty much it. And you have those categories for both PS5 and PC. I'm not interested in PC. It doesn't run well, and I remember playing it, and I think I've spoken about that enough. Even for Left Behind, it doesn't run very well. And I don't play with mouse and keyboard, so I went with the console version. And despite, the last month, I should also mention it was not my intention to spend a month with this, okay? I I picked it back up, haven't done it in a while. It was new, so it was exciting for a little while. But then I just fell into this pit of despair where it's like, you're not getting up from this chair until you put up a perfect run in this category. And I didn't even know if I was going to run all 5 categories, but it just kind of became that over time. And then I had confidence going in, and then I got humbled big time. I got like the yips when it came to doing final fights because they have to be so perfect, and I changed some strategies so that they're harder but they're faster, and it was a mess. But over the course of the last month, we did do some good work. Let me go over the specifics. I have them here. Hold on, you know what? I'll switch scenes for this. So this is my playlist of records, and this is my playlist of former records. The first category I did was grounded, and I wasn't sure if this is all I was going to do or not. Well, the last time I ran grounded, a year ago, I had a 28:15, and over the course of a few days, we got it down to 27:52. So how much time is that cut? Let's see. I'm seeing 23 seconds I cut, so I was pretty pleased with that. Then afterwards, I ordered them in a certain way, but I didn't do permadeath. I did this last, actually. I did very light next. So I went from a 27:55 a year ago, and we got it down to 27:06. This one was really good. I think I was happiest with this one, because I believe that is around 49 seconds cut. Yeah, that's roughly 49 seconds cut. So I was pleased with that one. Then I did all collectibles, because that's basically a very light run, just collecting everything. And I went back for this twice. I went back to it, got a certain time. I think I got 29:20, but then I went to another category and then came back to this one. So we went from 30:01 down to 28:55. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. How much time is that cut? A minute and 6 seconds. So we came back to it and cut off a minute and 6 seconds. That's some good shit right there. And then we did very light permadeath. Don't ask me why. This was the hardest category of the 5. It just was. So a year ago, we were sitting on a 29:30. And we got that down to, where are we? A 28:41. 28:41. So I think that is a time cut of 49 seconds we cut. 49 seconds. And then I ended it all with grounded permadeath, which was not that bad, honestly. For some reason, very light perma was the hardest. Grounded perma was also hard, but we went from a 30:10 to a 29:44. So I believe that is 26 seconds cut. So all of that, you're a lot more enthusiastic about returning to a category if there's more work to be done. And I knew after being away for so long that I'm sure new things had been found since then, and they were. I even put in some things that I was practicing some stuff, final fights, stalker fights, some stuff. And I found strategies on my own of things that just ended up working and being faster. So it was just a lot of work, and for some categories, just a lot of time spent on finding some new things that were faster. And I remember some other community members found stuff in all collectibles specifically that lowered it by like almost a minute and a half. So when you cut off that much time in multiple categories, I will say now that it's over, it was worth it. Was it worth putting myself through all of that and still feeling the effects of it? My sleep is shitty. Physically, I don't feel very well, but was it worth it in hindsight? I'd say it was. I just wish I didn't spend so much time on it. It was my intention to spend a week. I spent a little over a month. And yeah, it wasn't good. But I'm happy with the time that was cut. And also, I think the reason I tried so much for almost perfect runs is not so much that I don't have to run it again. I guarantee you I'm going to end up running it again at some point in the future. But starting right now, I'm not going back to any of those categories ever again unless they're beaten, either on PlayStation 5 or on PC. If one of them is beaten on either one, I'll go back to it. the next time we run Remake again. Because Remake's going away. We're switching to part 2 now. I've already started, like, studying based off the record. I've been watching it a couple times. And the next stream I do will be going through the game without speedrunning and just relearning everything. That's next. What was I talking about? Yeah, it all being worth it. Another reason I wanted it to be like almost perfect runs is for the next time I have to run it. That way I have much easier references. Because I wasn't just beating my own times, I was beating other people's times. There's 2 runners specifically that just kind of kicked ass with Left Behind while I wasn't running it for a year. And that's Vic, VKK, and Tio Minus, who's a really good part 2 runner. They both got world records in various categories, and the work they did was really, really good. So, but it was a tiny bit confusing where I'm like referencing what they're doing and then I'm implementing my own stuff. So I wanted records where, you know, everything was performed almost perfectly. And if something went wrong, it like wasn't because I didn't know what to do. It's because I didn't perform it properly, but I know what I was supposed to do. So I'm basically looking out for my future self, where if I do end up going back to it, it's I can just look at my records or PBs and then immediately remember how to do it and why. And as for the records themselves, I know we cut off a lot of time, but there's actually, I don't think any record was absolutely perfect. Like I put up almost perfect records in the original Left Behind for like 4 of the 5 categories, but Remake, I don't think any of the runs I did was perfect. My grounded record, I remember, it was very good, but there was a new strategy at the end of the third chapter, right before you open the gate and then climb and then leap onto the helicopter. As Ellie, there was a new strat found. If you delay hitting triangle on the gate until 1 second after the subtitles go away from Ellie, clickers spawn and you'll be able to sprint up there. It saves like 2.5 to 3 seconds compared to hitting triangle on the gate right away. I discovered that strat after I had gotten my grounded record. So there's time to save there. It saves time in every single category. I didn't implement that in the grounded one. Very Light, I think, was my best. I don't quite remember what was wrong with it. Very Light Permadeath, I remember Final Fight 1 was not good, but it was the only blemish in the entire run. Everything else was really good. All Collectibles, I just did that one. What was it? Give me a sec. Pre-Final Fight was bad. I was pretty pleased with almost everything else. Pre-Final Fight was very bad. I lost like 3.5 seconds there because something didn't work out. Yeah, an enemy heard me running past him, and that wasn't supposed to happen. Grounded Perma was, I think, the worst in terms of quality of all the records I got. What went wrong with it? I entered, like, pre-Final Fight, not quite on the best pace I had ever been on, and Final Fight 2 lost me the most time, all because I hit left on the D-pad twice instead of once when I was going for a weapon swap pickup. I meant to aim the bow, and she aimed the rifle instead, and I lost like 4 to 4.5 seconds on that one. Already on top of the fact that I didn't enter on the best pace I had been on based on previous attempts. So not every single one was perfect. But they were still really, really good, obviously. And I'm nowhere near ready to spend another month trying to get them like maybe 2 or 3 seconds off my sum of best. No chance in hell. If I do need to return to them, I will have a much better base. Like, knowledge of it. Because a lot of time was spent on finding some new strategies and new ways to do things that just made it, I wouldn't say better, but faster. So, and putting my own spin on things. So, yeah, that was that. So yeah, that's basically been the last month. I mentioned we're going back to part 2. I've already started watching the record. Tio Minus has it again. It'll be part 2 remastered. And people have been asking me, are you going to do some no return as well? Probably, but not as often as I did it back in like January or February. We did so much no return, I did like no speed running of part 2. So we're going to focus mainly on the speed runs and maybe do a little bit of no return. I have no interest in doing like high score attempts again. Maybe I'll do the daily runs, maybe I won't. I'm not sure. I want to primarily focus on the speed runs. And we're going to do Ellie percent grounded, then Abby percent grounded, and then do a full game. I think it's best to learn that game in halves. And the leaderboards have them separated. So does speedrun mode, which is cool. Yeah. And I want to talk about this too. Why haven't I been streaming the last few days? Because I got that grounded perma run, I think, like 3 or 4 days ago, but I haven't streamed since then. That's why. At the time I'm recording this, about 4 hours ago, the Yankees made the World Series for the first time in 15 years. If you know anything about me, I follow baseball like a religion. I love it so much. I don't really like many other sports besides that. Baseball is just my thing. It's always been my thing. So many memories of going to old Yankee Stadium, new Yankee Stadium. We go down to Camden Yards in Baltimore. It's always a big family bonding thing, especially with me and my dad. And I remember playing it. I miss playing it so much. It was never that good, but I really miss playing it. And, you know, I follow it religiously. They play it for 6 months straight, these major leaguers. And, you know, my team's going to the World Series. It's so exciting. These last 3 games have aged me by about 12 years. Those 3 games in Cleveland were just, they were all so close. It could have gone any which way based on just a couple moments here and there. So I've been taking some time off. And the games would have been on at around when I would be like, I don't know, halfway into an attempt or something. There's absolutely no way I'd be able to focus. And, oh, God, those games were just incredible. They were incredible. I felt my heart rate go up even faster just watching compared to when I'm like getting close to the end of a record run. I swear. It's been just crazy. So today's Sunday, and they don't start the World Series until Friday. So we have some downtime before things ramp up again. So, yeah, I'll start up streams pretty soon. And, yeah, we'll just we'll go balls to the wall with some part 2 relearning and see what we can do, because I've technically never done a part 2 remastered run. It's not that much different compared to like a part 2 run, like the original part 2 on PS4, but there are some differences. I just need to develop a whole muscle memory for it again, running it constantly over and over. And yeah, that's about it. And, yeah, I'll be back up and streaming soon. If there's one thing I got to focus on right now is getting my workout habits back and just getting a normal sleep pattern back. Again, it's almost 4 in the morning right now, and I'm, like, perfectly wide awake. So it's going to take some time to fix that. What I think I need to do is, like, maybe take a 3 or 4 hour nap, wake up at a normal time, and then fight to stay awake the whole time. I think that's what I need to do. Whatever. That's my problem, not yours. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I will see you guys on next stream. Bye.